On January 3, 2026, a highly controversial operation reportedly took place in Caracas, Venezuela. It was known as Operation Absolute Resolve, and the target was the sitting president, Nicolas Maduro. According to multiple reports, the mission was carried out by the United States using one of its most elite special operations units, Delta Force. The objective was clear: capture Maduro alive. The operation began in the early hours of the morning when most of the city was still asleep. But before any boots hit the ground, the first phase had already started: electronic warfare. Venezuela's air defense systems were reportedly disrupted. Radar coverage became unreliable, and communications were heavily jammed. This created a narrow window where incoming aircraft could approach without triggering a full defensive response. Shortly after, multiple helicopters entered Caracas airspace under that cover. On board were Delta Force operators, trained specifically for missions like this: high-risk, high-value target extractions carried out with speed and precision. They were inserted near a secured compound believed to be close to Maduro's location. Once on the ground, everything moved fast. The assault team split into multiple elements, each assigned to different entry points. The goal was to breach simultaneously, overwhelm security, and prevent any organized resistance. Within minutes, they were inside. Security forces at the location reportedly had very little time to react. The speed of the assault meant that by the time alarms were fully triggered, the attackers were already deep inside the compound. The mission wasn't about prolonged combat. It was about control. Find the target. Secure the target. Extract. Inside the compound, reports suggest that Maduro attempted to reach a designated safe room. These rooms are typically reinforced and designed to protect high-level officials during attacks, buying time until reinforcements arrive. But in this case, there wasn't enough time. Delta Force operators reached him before he could get there. He was taken into custody along with members of his inner circle. From start to finish, the entire raid reportedly lasted less than an hour. Once the objective was secured, the extraction phase began immediately. Maduro was moved out of the compound, transported to a waiting aircraft, and then taken out of Venezuelan territory using US military assets. Tactically, the operation was fast, controlled, and efficient. But politically, the consequences were massive. There was no official declaration of war, no clear public authorization from the US Congress, and no international mandate backing the operation. Almost immediately, global reactions started pouring in. Some viewed the mission as a decisive move against a leader long accused by the US of involvement in narcotics trafficking and corruption. Others saw it very differently, as a direct violation of Venezuela's sovereignty and a dangerous precedent for international relations. Because of the classified nature of missions involving units like Delta Force, many of the details remain unclear. Different sources provide slightly different versions of events, and some aspects of the operation may never be fully confirmed. But the core idea remains consistent across reports. This was a textbook example of a modern special operations raid: speed, surprise, and precision.